It's late, it's loose, and it's officially after hours. Welcome to the Mashup After Hours podcast, where anything can happen.
Here we go again, episode 2, Mashup After Hours podcast. John and the two Clares. Ladies, how we doing? We've made it to another week. Everyone give us a wave. There we go, waving to everybody's nobody watching, it's just us here. How we doing? How's things been since last episode?
Plenty of people are doing this. Step by 16, yeah.
Right, we said last week we were pointing. I pointed.
No, I messaged earlier in the group chat saying you're going first when John asked how you are. If you haven't seen that, that's on you, not me.
All right, that's on me. Right, do you want to start again?
I'll tell you what, Claire, Stephen, you go first.
Oh, thanks. Jesus Christ. Good. Back at it today, back at work today. It's the start of the summer slog, which is a weird one because the summer half term is one of the longest ones of the year. But because it's summer, it doesn't necessarily feel that much because there's so much going on in this next half term. And like for me personally, I played rounders all day today. Like,
oh, wow.
That's a very, very lovely day. I love rounders. So, yeah, start of a long slog, but weirdly one of my most look forward to half terms of the year.
I like it. I mean, is rounders that your go-to sport? Is that what you like to play when you're doing PE?
Rounders is my favourite sport to teach, definitely. I just think because normally when we get to teaching rounders, it's lighter in the day, so you're genuinely feeling better, like as a human being. It's warmer. The kids are in better moods. You're in a better mood. Like everyone's sort of getting a little bit hyped up, ready for summer holidays. So all of those sort of vibes put together just kind of all link to rounders in my head. So it's it probably is my favourite sport to teach. I love it. I like it.
Do you play like pickleball or anything like that? I've got into pickleball in the last few months. I'm a big pickleball player. A lot of people are like, I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought, pickleball, like pickled onions. Nothing to do with pickled onions at all. It's an American thing, but...
you played ball games while you were eating a pickled onion.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, you could have told me about it about 4 months ago, and it was just like, no idea what that is. But now I'm like, yeah, I love playing pickleball. It's an interesting sport.
Yeah, we've got a set, but it's only staff that play it, just because we can't afford to get like class sets of it. But there's quite a few like alterations of tennis-y types things come out. So there's paddleboard as well. Yeah. And that's so much fun. So that's kind of like halfway between tennis and squash is the easiest way of explaining that. Pickleball is kind of like short tennis, but with a different type of ball, which means I can actually play it because I am horrendous at tennis. I swing and miss every single time, or I swing, hit it, and it goes into next week. Like I am awful at it. But yeah, no, it's a very good sport. Yeah, very good sport. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Miss Pal, have you booked any trips to Disney in the last week? We know you're a massive fan.
No. Absolutely none.
But
I'm going to stay like that.
But Denmark's on the cards, right?
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, he'd like to go there. He'd like to go there.
On earth, I've heard.
Yeah, happiest place, apparently, yeah.
Apparently.
What
can't get my words out.
What have you been up to in the past week?
Work mainly.
Work.
We've had a few quite busy weeks. So we had a really chilled weekend, and it's just been really nice. And yeah,
I feel like this week's question of the week: what's the most British problem you've ever had? I think we've all been whinging about one of the biggest problems as British that we've ever had, and it's the weather. But how rewarding has it been today to be much cooler and see a bit of rain?
Oh, so nice. I'm not made for the heat. I don't like it. I try and lock myself inside. I will not, unless I really have to. I'm not going out in the sun. I don't like it. It's too much. I have to put my Factor 50 on, and it's a faff because you've got to go do it head to toe if you're wearing shorts, and it's just a faff, and it takes you about 3 hours to put your sun cream on before you can actually get out of the house.
By the time you get...
the sun's gone in and it started raining.
Just going to say...
I really struggle with sun cream. Makes me feel weird. Makes me feel like sticky.
Yeah.
Although I
Not
love
bad.
the smell of it, it reminds me of holidays.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we
makes
mentioned
me
this
feel
last week, didn't we?
We did talk
And then you're
about.
walking around like this, aren't you, for a while? Not trying to not get it on anything or not sit on a chair or anything.
Or you get in the pool a bit too quick and then you come out looking like a seal and you're just like sliding everywhere.
Or you get that waterproof sun cream and you just literally slip and slide everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Or when people when you go abroad and then they have that oil, don't they? That is very, very slippy, and then they use it on the feet and the legs, and then they have it on the steps. So when you're getting in the pool, you're literally sliding down the steps, almost like a water slide.
Yeah.
We have got a guest on this week's episode. I feel like we're going to have a very amazing chat with this week's guest. It's going to be interesting. Lots to learn, lots to cover, which is really exciting. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. Yeah, bless you, Claire, just sneezing away with a muted mic.
Well, yes, I thought I'm a loud sneezer. Like if I sneeze, I'm going to disturb everyone. So I'm being polite.
You're doing the right
muting
thing.
my mic.
Doing the right
And then
thing.
when I blow my nose, I'll also mute my mic.
Are you still suffering with hay fever?
It's horrendous. It is so bad at the moment.
Pollen's really high, isn't it?
I've heard so many people say that, and even people who've never suffered with hay fever before, and now they're like, no, I'm really bad.
I used to suffer a lot when I was younger, but now not so much.
No, I think
it's in cycles. It's every you can have it, and then it's something like every 5 or 7 years.
Really?
And then you could have it, and then all of a sudden you don't, and you don't have it for years and years, and then it comes back.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever not had it. I think I've suffered in various different amounts every single year since I was like 7. And it's normally I start suffering and I'm struggling a bit and I'm a bit sniffly and that. And it's this time of year and my eyes end up getting crusted over with pollen-y gunk and my mouth itches and I came home today and my fiance's like, oh, are you all right? I was like, I want to tear my own face off. It's itching so much. I want to just tear my own face off.
Bless you.
I won't, so you're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Just don't do it on the live, while we're recording, because
Sure.
that'll take some editing.
Do it once we finish season 2 of the podcast, please.
That's fair. That's
So
fair.
we
Just
can do
before
the
my
whole
wedding.
podcast.
Yeah, just before,
No, maybe not.
after the wedding. Then,
No, but you'll be fine then. You ain't the season will be over and you won't suffer.
True.
So we have got a guest on this week's podcast. We'll tell you a little bit more about him in a second. We've also got another head-to-head for you this week. Clare Pal is quizmaster. It will be Claire Stephen against the guest for this week's head-to-head. I'll play along just for fun in the background. As well as that, this week's question of the week, what's the most British problem you've ever had? Interesting one. We've had to filter through those replies yet again, but we've just shy of 300 comments on Facebook again, which is doing really good. We've got some more news stories for you as well. I've got another juicy confession this week. It's an interesting one. It'll be an interesting conversation, I think, that one. Right then, it's time for a guest then now. Joining us on this week's episode is the founder of Klatch Co, an independent clothing brand built around coffee, connection and men's mental health. Originally from Leicester, his journey has taken him from struggling with confidence, anxiety and alcohol dependency to becoming 1 year sober, a Movember ambassador and building a genuine community where men feel able to open up and support each other. From running 7 half marathons in 7 days to launching social support groups, helping dozens of blokes, this is going to be a really honest and inspiring and important conversation. So let's welcome, without further ado, this week's guest. It's Matt Startin. How you doing?
Yo, what up?
Thanks for joining us, Matt. It's a pleasure to have you here. You've got an amazing story. I can't wait for the listeners to sort of hear the story, and us as well. We only know snippets about how you got to where you are today. So I feel like it's only fair we start right back at the very beginning. First question for you. Growing up, did you always know fashion was something you wanted to pursue?
Yes, but then I didn't pursue it.
So tell us about the story. Obviously, in your bio, it tells us about tells us a little bit about how you sort of got into it and where the idea came from when you were young. So tell us that story and sort of what happened and why it was an idea then and why you didn't end up pursuing it.
Yeah, so when I was growing up, before I was born, my granddad had a factory in Leicester, which was hosiery. And that closed before I was born. So when I grew up, he had all the machines in his garage. So I would go to, if I wasn't skating or if it was raining, whatever, I'd spend my summers in the garage, like learning how to sew, looking at like all the templates he used to have, all the old heat transfers and everything. And I was always interested in like that side of things, of like how the fabrics would fit. Like if we made a t-shirt, I'd be like, oh, let's make it longer, like the old skater 90s kind of like oversized vibe. So I was always interested in like how products felt and how they kind of like sitted on a person. And then from that, I went to uni and did graphic design illustration, nothing to do with fashion kind of whatsoever. But then after that, I was working in snowboard shops. My granddad was fortunate enough to take us snowboarding from a young age. I started skiing when I was 6, started snowboarding when I was 12. So we go every year. So I kind of combined the two of like the fashion, working in a snowboard shop, and yeah, kind of worked my way up in retail. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to do something with my degree that's fashion based. And then eventually kind of like put the two together and designed packaging in the fashion world, and then just kind of like done bits off on that. And then, yeah, it got to COVID and I was like, okay, maybe I should actually put my passion to the test and see if I can actually do this. And then here we are, 2026.
And you've created a company called Klatch, which is yours. It's your baby, but it's not purely just about clothing. There's a story behind the business and what the old sort of aura of the business is about. So let's get into that. Obviously, it's got a deep and meaningful purpose. It's not just like a clothing brand. There's a story behind that.
Yeah, so when I was working with a lot of brands in fashion, I just kind of got to this point where I'm like, there's a lot of people doing nothing with their profits, doing nothing in a community value sense with the brand. It was very much about like, how much money can they make on each garment, etc. And with my own personal journey with using alcohol as like being confident and kind of dependent on that for a certain period of time, and just my body confidence, like growing up being a bigger kid and then kind of like taking that into my teens and then losing like 5 stone and kind of having this kind of body dysmorphia style. I was like, okay, let's create a brand where I can make guys feel comfortable in their clothing, but also comfortable enough to talk about like their mental health and be a bit more open with their friends. So obviously the idea, Klatch actually means a social gathering over coffee, and a conversation with my mate over coffee kind of like really helped our outlook on life in how we see it mentally. So yeah, kind of like combined the two there and was like, I'm going to create a clothing brand that donates 10% to Movember charity, because I've always done Movember for about 15, 16 years now, way before I became an ambassador, and actually do something meaningful with the brand. So like build a community of like-minded guys that one, want to buy the clothing because they like it, 2, because they want to feel more confident when they go to either the pub or coffee shop or with their mates to potentially have those like more difficult conversations. So it's just giving guys confidence really. And I feel like a lot of guys, my customers now, they compliment each other if they see them wearing Klatch. Like, oh, it looks really good, mate, on you. Like, and that's something that we guys don't do. Like, I feel like it's very heavy in the kind of female space, but it's really difficult for a guy to go up to somebody else in the another guy in the street and be like, oh mate, I like how you dress. Like, you never know how it's going to be received, right?
Yeah.
But my customers are understanding that they can do that with Klatch, because it's kind of like, if you know you're wearing it, you kind of know type thing. So I'm not a huge brand just yet.
Yeah.
So when people do see other people wearing it, they're like, oh, you're wearing Klatch, like. So it's pretty cool in that sense. So that's a bit of a summary of Klatch, really. If that.
Yeah, I like it because I mean. The world's changed. I mean, especially here in the UK at the minute, mental health is such an open, wide conversation that a lot of people are having more openly about, the struggles and how they're suffering and whatever else. So I think the way that we live, the way that we speak, the way that we communicate with mates or even just strangers, like we're a little bit more open in that sense. And like you said, now people are saying, oh, it's amazing, you look great. And blokes wouldn't normally have done that 10, 15 years ago. They would have strayed away from that. They wouldn't have been open and honest about their feelings and stuff. And it's great that we're doing that now as blokes. We're getting more confidence to speak openly about how we're feeling. You've spoken openly about obviously your alcohol issues and obviously as a social crutch. But when did you first realise it had become unhealthy for you? When did you realise actually this is not the direction I want to be taking my life?
Well, I went self-employed in 2022, and I kind of reduced my drinking then. So if I went to the pub in the week with a mate, I wouldn't have a drink. It was very much I needed to be kind of switched on Monday to Friday. But then I still spent maybe the weekend, a Saturday from 5 o'clock in the pub, having a lot of beer. And then I would still feel it by the Tuesday. Even though I wasn't drinking every day, I realised that one big binge blowout just didn't help, how my focus went. And I felt like a lot of guys still kind of go through that. But I drank quite a lot during lockdown. Obviously, everyone was on a quiz, and it was kind of every other day we'd do something. And then just got to the point where I was, having a lot of rum. It would just be casually every few nights. Then when we were able to go out to a pub after lockdown, I went out and got absolutely battered. I woke up at 5 a.m., had no phone, no hat. I'm always in a hat. And I was like, what's going on? Had no wallet. Luckily, my mate had them, but I couldn't remember anything. And that, for me, was a point of being okay, I don't need to go out and have this. I need to control my drinking. And if I do want to drink again, it would be a few, and then kind of have to really tell myself that that's it. And then, it kind of I'd go 3-4 months without one single drink. And then went to a festival last year, and I was like, okay, maybe I do miss getting pissed, to that point of being really pissed. I did that and realised I didn't miss that. I didn't miss that high that a lot of people get when they're on that level, right? I woke up on the Monday and I was like, never again. And then, that was 24th of May, 2025. And then we've just passed a year being sober.
Well done for 1 year sober.
That is amazing.
Yeah, well done for that.
There is so much pressure as well, just around, like you said, going to a pub or something. It's constantly this, you have to drink. And then if you say you're not, people are like, what? And there's a lot of peer pressure, isn't there? So it's very good that you're not succumbing to that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was difficult going to the festival that I went to for the week. It's just a day festival I go to in Leeds with my friends that we always go. And I had a bit of anxiety before this one, a few weeks ago, being coming up to a year, are my friends expecting me to drink? Are people around me that I know? There was a lot of Klatch customers there that I see. Are they expecting me to drink? But no, everyone completely understands that if I'm I don't want to drink, they're like, okay, cool. So I think it's becoming more acceptable to when your friends get used to it. But when you make that decision and your friends are big drinkers, it can be a difficult situation and scenario for them to understand.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time. And a lot of guys probably don't want to stop drinking because they might think their friends will just disown them. And I feel like that's when I talk to other guys that do still drink and that are thinking of going sober or reducing their drinking. That's something that they mention. I'm like, yeah, but if you turn to your friends and said, these are the reasons why, your friends would 100% back you. But as guys, we never want to be pushed out of the group, right? So that's why we don't talk about our feelings. We don't actually do what we want to do. So if you're thinking about it, just honestly take the leap, tell your friends why, and I guarantee, I bet half of them will want to join you on that journey.
And again,
so I have a theory. I would love there, for one day a year or something, and for places, for bars, festivals, wherever sell alcohol, to change it all to alcohol free, but not tell people. And I'd just love to see people's reactions. And
I still think there'll be, with a lot of people, it's a placebo effect. And I think that's why the non-alcoholic drinks are becoming really, really popular.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago, I was designated driver, so I bought the non-alcoholic Copperbergs. But because they tasted the exact same, I was drinking them and I was getting the placebo effect to the point I was like, have I picked up the wrong ones? I went and checked and I was absolutely fine. But they are making such good non-alcoholic versions.
Yeah.
I do find it unusual though. And it's something that I really do hope sort of changes in societies moving forward. Because like you were saying there, Mike, you were saying, oh, well, if you explain sort of reasons people understand, but it's kind of like, well, why? It is in terms of, if someone says I don't want to drink, then just don't want to drink. And like, for me as a woman, if I say, oh no, I'm not drinking, and Claire, you may have had this as well, oh, you're pregnant. It's like, no, I'm just not drinking. It's not, that shouldn't be the centre of it.
Or if you have like 1 or 2 drinks, people either expect you to drink nothing or to get absolutely rat arse. And it's like, no, I just want 1 drink. Like, that's it. Yeah. And there is still, even though we are coming on lows, there is still such a stigma around, like, oh, if you're going to drink, you're going to go out and you're going to get absolutely rat arse where you can't remember what's happened. You know, and I just think...
Well, it's like Matt says, and I think it's part of it is the whole manosphere of, oh, men need to go out and drink pints. And they must drink pints. And I think, Matt, what you're doing is absolutely incredible, of standing up and saying, look, I did drink all this and got myself in a state that I wasn't happy with, and have changed that and have been supported by the people around you. I think that's incredible. I do have a quick question I want to ask. Because of the type of company that you've created, you've not only created products, it's not just a T-shirt, it's not just a long sleeve top. You've created a community, and like you've said, like if somebody walks down the street wearing the same brand, it's not just it's just another Nike T-shirt. Like it's people that will go to, oh my god, that mate, I've got the same brand as that. That's incredible. What are you more proud of, the success of products or the success of a community that you are creating?
The community always comes first.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like I would rather break even and have 100 people in my T-shirts than sell 100 T-shirts and be like, oh, where's all the profit? Like I want to keep the profit. Because for me, it's somebody else is wearing a T-shirt that is spreading a message. Yeah. And that my community is invaluable to me. Everyone that you see who models for the brand are customers. I don't hire any professional models. They're normal people. They're all now like some of my closest friends. Some of them help me on the brand. They're involved in the running club that we have and some other stuff I'm sure we'll talk about. They're just genuine people that are around me, and that's the thing that I felt like there was missing with a lot of the brands that I work with. I work with some huge brands in the UK and the US, like over my freelance stuff. Like I still kind of dabble into it a little bit because it's fun to do. And I just feel like they don't have that sense of community. And so, like you said, like having somebody wear that and they see somebody else wearing it, they're like, oh, it's nice, Klatch. Like when I released my gilet on Boxing Day, I did a photo shoot early January, and one of the guys had his on, and then he left to go into town, and he was like, I saw somebody else wearing it. And at that point, it was like such a rare product. It was like, oh my god, like, I just my hometown wearing the same gilet, and like they kind of looked at each other and were like, oh, you got that? You managed to get one? Like it sold out in 3 hours on the first drop. So it's just one of them where like community always comes first over everything, and
it's incredible.
I absolutely love my community. But kind of going back to the drinking thing, where you said it's kind of like hopefully it's going to become more acceptable. The first time I had a non-alcoholic drink was actually the festival the other weekend. Like I don't actually like the taste of beer. I love rum. I love the taste of rum. That was obviously my downfall though, because I'd always go for hard spirits instead of just beer. Yeah. But yeah, it's like one of them where you could have the placebo effect, but it should be a thing where someone shouldn't have to ask like why you're not drinking. It's the same thing as like if you're doing something else. If you don't want to do something and you tell somebody no one should question it, because that's your decision to not do whatever you're doing. Right.
Yeah, and if you want to tell them why not, that's fine. You can explain it yourself. But sometimes I think as well, we feel like we have to explain it. Oh no, I'm not going to do that because of.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a British thing.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it.
Stay tuned. More from the Mashup After Hours podcast coming up.
This is more than just a brand where you just have a story behind the company. You're not just making great clothing as well, because there's an incentive for people when they purchase something from Klatch. Because from every order you make a donation to Movember and the suicide prevention projects, And obviously you've got the community built up around that as well. Was that always the aim, to have a product that gives back to the things that have helped you to get to where you are today?
Yeah, so I donated 10% of my profits to Movember, and I've started that since day one. That was always the thing. Like, I grew up playing rugby, and Movember was quite prominent in that space, and still is. So I always did Movember. So I was like, I also found a lot of their resources helpful online. I've been able to talk to friends. Some of the stuff on their website kind of like helped me get through my darker times in terms of the resources. So it just kind of made sense. And then, 2024, I became a Movember community ambassador. So just get to kind of like share my journey with other people. I've been to a couple of schools to kind of talk about my journey. Lost a mate through suicide at uni. So kind of talking about how to deal with that from a friend situation. I mean, that was back in 2010. So mental health really wasn't spoken about back then. And it's like, how can younger guys recognize the signs now to make sure it never gets to that point, right? The Movember donation was always a commitment. It was always a thing of like, this is what I do from the start. And I do get a lot of, like, it kind of winds into like what you said, like previously, Claire, about like the confidence and like people like not slating you, but like not backing you. I get a lot of, you're using men's mental health for a marketing tool. I'm like, well, I'm not, because one, there's not a huge amount of money in clothing. It's one of the most saturated markets in the UK. Two, it's like, well, I donate my time to Movember. I donate money to Movember. I raised £3,500 for the charity last year. I ran 7 half marathons in 7 days. We have a men's social media group, and there's all these other things that I know we'll get into as well. Like, I actively do a lot of things for the cause, so I'm not using it as a marketing tool, but unfortunately other brands do. But I've now got the kind of like evidence since 2021 that I do all of these things. So it was always about giving back for me. Like, I mean, I'd give the product away just to get the cause out if I could, but obviously that's not a viable business, so I can't do that. It's one of those where I just want to make a difference, and if I can do it with some clothing and create a community around that, then perfect.
I just actually want to talk a little bit about the actual designs of the product. And I clocked on straight away at the very start this. You said, I was a skater when I was younger. And the reason I clocked onto that is because when I looked at the designs, I instantly was like, right, my other half's going to love these. And he was a skater when he was younger, and he loves that sort of the relaxed sort of fits and things like that. But the actual designs that you have on your products, in particular, sort of like the cartoony sort of elements that you have in there with the coffee and convos kind of thing. Is that something that you've designed yourself? Is that something that you've worked with other people with? Or is it sort of been a bit of a mixture over the years?
I do everything. I literally do the whole thing. Design,
that's incredible.
Website, marketing, socials. That's my bag. Like, I have a marketing agency that do my adverts and some strategy stuff for me, but I'm the creative. So obviously I feature a lot of like coffee and combos style designs, but recently when I dropped my first kind of spring range, I started doing like brews and B-sides with some vinyl music inspired, because I listen to music every day. I was in a punk band, and it is very skater, like with more relaxed fit. It's kind of that vibe of what I wanted. A lot of my target audience is guys that are like 28 to like 45, so they kind of grew up in that era of buying other brands like Carhartt and Stussy, those things. So it's kind of one of them where it kind of made sense and also like that demographic have probably gone through some shit as well, so they understand the meaning of the brand. Like, so it kind of made sense. So to have that kind of style. What is also resonates with me is no point me pushing something that isn't me. Like, I wear the product every single day. Like, my wardrobe is nothing. There's nothing that's not Klatch anymore. Like, it's just I wear it every day. So if I wear it every day, then my followers get to see that I'm in the products and stuff. So I do everything, design everything. I'm doing some artist collabs later this year, but with friends that I went to uni with and we're good friends. But apart from that, I design all of it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Wow. Such a talent.
Yeah, amazing.
So I'm a 1989 baby. I think you're probably the same year, because I'm 37. I'm 37 this year as well. I have too suffered with mental health and still am suffering. I don't think you ever really get over it. You just learn to live with it better and learn to manage it a lot better. Let's talk about the community then. I know you've built such a huge community and the community is growing more and more. Where are you now in terms of that community? I know you've launched recently a men's support group. Tell us a little bit about that and what the plans are to expand.
Yeah, so on the back of kind of like the Klatch, and it kind of falls under the umbrella of Klatch, I guess. Me and my mate, Dan, in 2024 started a podcast called One for the Boys. And it was very much like, he's self-employed, we'd meet up for lunch, just like business lunch for 3 or 4 hours. We'll chat and shit. And we're like, you know what, we should record this. This is probably quite interesting to other guys to be like hearing the conversations that we were having. Like, he's gone through a lot of shit. And yeah, so we decided to start One for the Boys podcast. And on the back of that, we got another hosting called Joe last year. So we started a running club, which is the last Sunday of every month in Market Harbour, the area that we are. We just do a casual 5K followed by coffee, and it's just a nice little way to meet up and, you know, just get guys together, kind of shoulder to shoulder, chat about life without sitting around in a room, right? But then on the back of that, we were like, okay, well, there's other support groups around the area, but nothing that was kind of inspiring to us. So we're like, let's start one. We had the first one in April. And we do the second Tuesday of every month in the evening, 7:30 till 8:30. It's like 9ish. It's kind of like, we call it a men's social group. So what we've done is kind of taken that like going to the pub style meetup, but putting it in a safer space that isn't necessarily a pub as such. But we have guest speakers. So we had a guest speaker for our first one, who's a guy who, again, has been sober for like 4.5 years and now is a life coach. He spoke about his life for half an hour. And then a couple of guys opened about how they were feeling, and it was just a kind of safe space. But we didn't advertise it as a mental health safe space, sit around in a circle. We don't do that. We just all get in a room and just kind of chat life, and someone kind of then does something. The second one, me, Dan, and Joe said about why we started the podcast and the Run Club. And then, yeah, we've got 4 guests lined up for the next 4 months. Business owners, PTs, some other guys that have gone through like car crashes and kind of the effects of that and changing their life. So it's kind of like an area where guys can network and meet up, but also if people do want to talk about how they're feeling, they can do, and everybody's there to support and listen and offer any kind of advice. And it was really good because we had a guy who's actually a customer of Klatch. He came to the second one. He didn't say a single word other than just like hello and bye and stuff. And he messaged our WhatsApp group after, which is a group of like 65 guys in there now. He was like, sorry I didn't say anything, lads, but I absolutely needed that. So it's just a case where guys can come and listen as well. And he's just now taken the biggest leap where he's just left his job on a good wage, 9 to 5, to go and do what he wants to do, take a massive pay cut because he was like, mentally, I'm not where I am. And everyone, he put in the group, can anyone give any advice? And for like the whole weekend, everybody was chipping in, being like, read this book. This is what I did. And that's why we built the community. And so that's kind of what we're doing on the back of it. So yeah, it's really good. It's needed for our local area. Market Harbour has a really high suicide rate for the kind of Leicestershire District Council. So anything we can do to support it. But it kind of fits under the Klatch umbrella, I guess, but it's just with a few of the lads. Yeah, we've got a podcast, One for the Boys, on Spotify. We don't do a lot. We did 3 last year and we realised that was really bad. So yeah, we need to do more this year.
I mean, we just talk shit on our podcast, to be fair.
Utter nonsense.
Yeah, utter nonsense. You'll find out in a second anyway, because we're going to talk utter nonsense in a minute. Last question from me then. So what advice would you give to a bloke who might be listening right now, who's struggling silently? What advice would you give them about opening up and talking about how they're feeling? Yeah,
so not everybody has a support network around them. Like, I'm very lucky that I do. But if you've got maybe just 1 or 2 friends, just kind of reach out and be like, I'm just having a bit of a struggle at the moment. So if you haven't heard from me, then this is the reasons why. Just kind of explain that. If you've been quiet, then that's okay. Or if you don't want to talk to anybody that you know, Samaritans is incredible. They will listen to anything. There's also like Shout as well, like Calm. They all have these like hotlines you can ring up and just talk to somebody that doesn't know you, isn't going to be like judgment free. We know it's always difficult to talk to your closest people around us. Talking to strangers is a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, just basically just chat, just get it off your shoulder. Like obviously like a problem shared is a problem halved, that type of like saying. It just going out and talking to somebody, honestly, you'll feel so much better. And or even just writing it down so it's not in your head. It could be the best start, like journal, or video yourself. Just video yourself, and don't have to share it anywhere. Just video it. It's not in your head then. Anything that's kind of like you've said out loud or you've written down on paper or said to somebody else is just 100% going to help. I journal and I video myself of how I'm feeling. I talk to myself in the mirror, like all those things. It's just not in my head then. But then if you do feel comfortable enough to then talk to somebody, then yes, Samaritans is probably my go-to, I'd say.
Amazing advice. What's next for Klatch then? What can we see coming up for the rest of this year? Have you got more designs dropping? Are we going to see a new line of different kind of clothing? What's on the agenda?
Yeah, well, actually, right next to that, I just realised I've got some running caps coming out. So I've got a small running range coming out this Sunday, actually. Because a lot of my followers do challenges and running and that type of thing. So I'm releasing a cap, some running socks, and a t-shirt. The factory that I use for my socks in Leicester, they specialise in sportswear as well. So did some running socks for me. So that's on Sunday. And then basically I'm recently releasing designs at the end of the month, every month for the rest of this year. Just a couple of designs just to kind of like test some stuff. I don't do bigger releases like here's my spring summer. I kind of like here's my spring range and it's a few little sections of like products and things, and I just kind of add bits into it. So that's kind of like how it's going really. So there's always going to be something new at the end of every month. So when you get paid, you can pick up a new Klatch tee if you want to add it to the collection. I have a lot of customers that always want to buy stuff. So
because it can be overwhelming when a brand drops like their spring summer collection or whatever, and it's huge. And you don't know where to start looking, and you just feel very overwhelmed. So actually to do like a few things and like add them, I think that's really good as well, because it makes, and then because if there's a lot, I feel as well that you're like, oh, I have to buy everything or whatever. But a few things, I think that's really nice.
Yeah, it just kind of made sense after trying it for a couple of years, being like, this is the way forward to do it, instead of having like loads of different products and one or two not selling as well, or maybe they just don't sell because people don't see them. So yeah, the idea was just kind of a bit more flexible. As a smaller brand, I can do that. But yeah, everything else for the rest of the year. So we've had one pop-up this year. We're going to be back on the road again. So we have a pop-up in John Lewis in Nottingham on the 18th of June to the 21st of June. So like the Father's Day weekend for 4 days. So that's going to be mega. Excited for that. And then we have a pop-up in July at Stockyard Market, I think it's called, through Midlands Makers. Nikki, who runs that, she's incredible. And then, to be confirmed for this year. But what we're going to be doing is taking over a few coffee shops around the UK just for like a day. So we're just kind of getting details ironed out for that. And obviously the November is obviously Movember month. We're trying to sort out a challenge. Obviously last year, like I said, I did 7 half marathons in 7 days. It was to honour my friend Deej, who passed away from cancer in 2024. So the day he found out he had cancer was stage 4. To the day he passed away was 153 kilometres. So I ran 153 kilometres in 7 days, which worked out to be half marathon every day. So so I'm trying to figure out what to do this year because my knee still hurt from that. So
I'm knackered just thinking about it. I'm knackered just thinking about it. Matt, we could probably talk to you all night, to be fair. There's probably 1,000 questions we've not asked, but I'm conscious of time and I feel like we've still got a lot to get through before the end of the podcast. So shall we
Can I quickly do a random question?
Oh, go on then, Claire.
Smart, very random, and I love asking lots of questions. What is your favourite shape of pasta?
This is good because my least favourite is penne for sure. It's used all the time. The shells, I'd say the shells.
Yeah, good shells. Yeah, I'm the same. Never remember the name, but they are really good.
Yeah,
100%.
Like a creamy pasta, like a salmon, some peas in there, some.
It's time for a battle of brains, pride, and pure chaos. This is the head-to-head.
So the head-to-head is where, this series anyway, we go against the guests. Now, in our first episode we recorded last week, we did lose to the guests. So the guests are currently winning 1-0.
But it was very close.
Well, yeah, to be fair.
Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark.
Happiest place in the world. Clare Pal says Denmark, not Disneyland. But Clare Pal, you are... Yeah, you begin with D. A lot of things begin with D. But anyway, you are quiz master this week, Claire. So it is Claire Stephen against Matt for this week's head-to-head. So have you both got pens and papers at hand?
I do.
Yeah, let's go.
So you write your answers down. I'm assuming there's 5 questions, Claire.
Yeah, there's 5 and then a tie break.
I will let you take over. You're now in charge.
So I'm going to read 5 questions. So basically, the theme is adverts. So I'm going to read a slogan or something from an advert, and then you've either got to finish off the slogan by writing it down, or what it's for. But
It's going to really upset me if I can't get them.
There are bonus points available, and I will tell you that when we get to it. So, number 1, I've got something to tell you.
What are we doing with that?
You've got to say what it's from, what advert, what it's advert.
Okay, so that's it. We're not trying to finish that one off. We're trying to guess the product, the brand.
Do you want me to tell you when you are finishing them off?
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah. Oh, Lord. I've got something else to tell you.
I've put down a ridiculous answer just because it's the only thing I can think about.
You ready for the question 2?
Hold on.
Yes. No.
Yep, sure, why not?
Not, but
Okay. Question 2, I want the red stripes.
Oh, the blades?
from Sheffield then.
No. Well, yeah, absolutely, because no one supports the blades at the minute unless you're from Sheffield. I want the red stripes.
And it's really hard to do it how the advert does it as well.
No, do it how the advert does it. Come on.
No.
Yeah, I think you should.
Come on. The guest is asking to do it.
Bonus points are for at the end. If you can tell me how it's done, you get a bonus point.
Lord above. Okay.
You haven't got all night, Claire.
But I am Sprugs. Hold on. I'm go on, fine.
Question 3. If you have heartburn,
Oh, okay. Are we finishing this or are we saying the brand? I know this one.
well, if you say the brand, but then you get a bonus point if you finish it. And the same with number 2. If you can finish it, you get a bonus point. I better start get my pen ready for scores.
Will there be scores?
Well, if they're getting bonus points, I need to know, don't I? Right, you ready, Claire? The thing's done?
I've written it all
Are you
down.
both ready? Right, question 4. So you're finishing this one off, really, but it's kind of finishing it off is kind of also what it is. It's okay, I'm with.
You know that
Claire.
has help and win, Claire. I'm in uncharted territory here of not doing well on the quiz, and I'm getting all kinds of upset. Say again.
Well, I'll go through them again after. I'll quickly run through. Number 5. I've had my biker moment.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Number 5.
Yes.
I've had my biker moment. What's it for? What's it advertising?
What?
Right, do we need any more repeating?
Number 4.
Number 4, it's okay, I'm with.
Oh, that I know, it's trapped somewhere in the deep pits of my brain. Jesus Christ, I have struggled this week.
Right. Let's go through your answers, because otherwise we'll be here all night. So, number 1, right? What have you got? I've got something to tell you. I know it's not the song. What have you got for that?
I said BT because I went down the phone line.
Right.
Wait.
Nah.
I went with Ariel, like, oh, this is the best washing powder ever.
No. It's Domino's. It's when they're at a train station, he's just got on the train, and she's like, I've got something to tell you!
Oh, for
Domino's.
Christ's sake.
This is probably what I should tell you, that I don't have a TV license, so I don't watch TV. So adverts are gonna be like, yeah. I also have YouTube Premium, so I don't also have an adverts on there. So I feel like I missed out.
You might get this next one, and it's oh, what? I'm not sure it's around anymore. So number 2, I want the red stripe.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get a single thing.
What did you get?
I put Skittles. I don't know, like, sort of food related. I sweet.
Anything that was red and white striped left my brain.
You're letting me down. Well, it's not red and white. If I say it's red, white, and blue,
Union Jack?
Oh, is it toothpaste?
yeah. Which toothpaste?
Aquafresh.
Red,
Yes.
Colgate.
I want the red stripes. I want white. I want the blue stripes. That's all right. Do you not remember that? It's been years.
No.
Oh.
This is hilarious. I need to
This is
watch more advert.
right. Okay, I'm putting it out there. I am about to redeem myself.
Okay. Right. Claire, if you have heartburn,
So if you have nausea, heartburn, or indigestion, upset stomach, or diarrhea, you need Pepto-Bismol. Ping ping.
No.
So I had a license. Yeah,
you do the dance for it. You get an extra. You get an extra
kind of thing. Well, so it's something like this. Like nausea, indigestion. So the only reason that is in my brain is because it is normally sort of like either just before a half term or just after a half term, and people start making sort of like mixtape videos about parents calling into school and saying all the things that are wrong with their child when actually they're just having a week in Mallorca. And it's like these are the email we get from parents. He's got sickness, he's got heartburn, he's got indigestion. So that's why that stuck in my head.
Oh, I put Gaviscon.
I put Gaviscon for
that.
Well, that's cute. I might give you half a point for that one. Because it's the same sort.
Yeah.
Still got one more point, Claire. A full point for that.
I reckon I've got 2.
Ooh.
Not for that, for this. I reckon I've got this.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Number 4. It's okay. I'm with.
Karen.
You know.
AA.
What do you think it is?
AA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm with the AA. That's 1 point each. So, number 5. I've had my bike moment.
Can I have a hint?
Hang on. It's okay. I've had my bike moment.
Now that you said it like that, I think Penny's dropped.
I also went down the insurance route and thought, oh, maybe they're trying to sell car insurance instead of bike insurance. I put Direct Live.
I mean,
but
that's quite creative. That's good, but I'm afraid it's not that.
No, I had nothing.
eBay. She's in the shop, and she's selling. It's because now things are free to sell on eBay.
Right.
She's like putting the jacket in, and she's like, "I've had my bike moment," and then here and yes, and then she goes. So,
very neat.
I worked out that Claire's got 2 and Matt got 1.5.
I'll take it.
yeah, congratulations.
You'll probably know. If I tell you what the tiebreaker is, you'll probably know.
God.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I am.
So, dinner, the best a man can get.
Gillette.
Yeah.
Is that because our guest last week's surname was Gillette?
Oh my god, if only I'd have known.
Well, I'm glad it was you, Claire Stephen, this week, and not me, because I got absolutely no points. Yeah.
That was very difficult, Clare Pal.
But does me, and that was
Lovely bit there.
yeah, it was really hard. Claire watches the adverts and obviously not the TV programmes around them.
I'm doom scrolling at that point. I've lost it.
Along, when I'm in my car, I sing along to more adverts than I do songs.
Don't go away. You are with The Mashup After Hours Podcast.
I've carried on with my theme of not the UK.
Great.
Nice.
Good start.
So, in Australia, due to the cost of living and the price of fuel, I don't actually know when they started it, but up until today, they've done free travel on public transport. Today, it goes to half price because they've realised that everybody's struggling with cost of living and obviously petrol's so expensive.
Yeah.
So just for reference, Matt, what Claire does is she looks at all the shit things that UK are doing, and everywhere else around the world is doing 10 times better than the UK.
Yeah.
She's quite good at that.
Now,
Well,
That's
it's funny you
amazing.
say that.
It is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for that, but I also know that the UK have announced something very, very similar where children are getting free bus fares, and because I'm a nightmare for going into comments and then reading the comments, and then the comments annoy me more than anything.
Yeah.
But all the comments were then like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Now we're going to have kids on being like bus drivers will be babysitters and all this stuff." And it's like we're trying to get people out of their homes, and going shopping and seeing things. And
I don't know about Australia, I've never been, but trains here, so expensive.
Yeah.
That actually, even if they were half priced for a few months, more people would use them because they say obviously it's better to use trains than cars, but people don't car share or anything like that, and they drive everywhere because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So if actually public transport was half price or even free for even a month or two, I think more people would use it and there'd be fewer cars on the road.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a really good initiative from Australia. Like, I go to the Philippines quite a lot, and that there as well is a place where I know, like other places like that, the government are crooked in certain areas, but there's so many things that they do that are really good. There's jobs for everything as well. There's obviously a lot of people in the Philippines. It's one of the most populated cities in the world, Manila is. But there's jobs for like everything. Like someone operating the floors in the lift in the private hospital, there's somebody that selects the floor for you and stuff. But it's like they've got a job, so they're going to go to the local place and get food and put money into the economy. And the economy is like they're in the like top 10 biggest economies, growing economies in the world at the moment because the amount of like people that have got money to spend. Things like that can just really help. And when you look at smaller brands, if everybody in the UK, well, not everybody, like a small percentage of people in the UK spend £20 with an independent brand instead of buying from like the Amazons and the bigger brands, it would generate like billions of pounds for this economy, for the UK. So I think things like that are great. I always thought kids went free on buses anyway, so that's a surprise. I don't have kids, so that was...
I always thought a bus pass to get a school bus was free, but then it turns out it's not. You have to pay every term. It's like...
Yeah, some of them are, but a lot of them aren't, especially if they're service buses. Service buses, it's you just pay as if you use a standard bus. But no, I like that. I like, because not only is it helping the economy in terms of getting people out into places where they will spend money, but it's giving opportunity. And it's weird, me and my dad were talking about something literally just the other week, and we were talking about sort of cost of living and all stuff like that. And my dad made a very, very valid point of the cost of living hasn't necessarily changed, but what we perceive to be necessities has changed. And he was saying that when like he was younger, like sort of my age, having a car was an absolute luxury. Whereas now we look at it and go, well, I need a car. If I don't have a car, I can't get to work. And it's like, no, you could get to work. It would be harder and it would take more time and it would be not as convenient, but you could. But people's perceptions of necessity versus luxury have changed a little bit. So I think it would be to go back to using sort of those public transports and still do those other things is also going to instill that the thing, if there are other ways of getting there, a car is a luxury. It's not a necessity.
And you'd probably go to other places, like places that you've not necessarily been to, or you'd be like, oh, look, I'll go there. Usually it's really expensive, but I'll give it a go. So I think you'd explore more. You'd go to different places. And then, as you said, Claire, you'd end up spending more money and putting it, as you said, Matt, as well, putting it back into the economy.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, so when you look at, like, me, for example, if someone buys a pair of socks from me, they're made in a factory in Leicester. So, obviously I pay the factory for the socks, but then the factory pay their staff, and the staff will then go and spend money in the local economy in Leicester. And so it's kind of like someone buys something from me, is putting money into the local economy, that other person's going to go in, like that circularity of money. People don't realise, obviously that's just because it's British made, but the same type of thing, like go to your local coffee shop instead of going to a chain. I've not had a coffee from a chain's coffee shop in probably like 3 or 4 years. I always go to an independent. If I can't then go to an independent, then I won't have one, because I'm not giving anybody, the big guys, I don't want to mention anything.
They always say use cash as well, don't they, wherever possible, because the value of the cash stays the same. Whereas then every card transaction you do, it lessens.
Knocks a % off, yeah.
Obviously, sometimes you have to use card, but yeah, it's always if you can.
Yeah, it's something that I've been making a conscious effort with. And don't get me wrong, I'm not very good at doing it all the time, especially like when I'm doing sort of bigger purchases. But when I'm doing smaller purchases, especially with the independent places, so like when I go to my local chippy, for example, independent chip shop, it's been open ever since I've been born. I always use cash because I know that is, like you say, a little percentage, but helps them. And we go to a local coffee shop near us that my other half absolutely adores. And again, we try and use cash because it's just a little extra percentage that goes in their pocket rather than going to whatever card company it is. But yeah.
Yeah, amazing though that you've highlighted again another UK. I feel like I've put the question of the week this week. What's the most British problem you've ever had? And you've just thought, fuck it, I'm going to annihilate the whole of the UK and find every one of those issues where somebody else is doing them right somewhere else in the UK.
Shall I go next, John?
Go on then, Claire. Let you go next.
Yeah, so mine's about Italy.
Go on then. Highlight what amazing things they're doing.
This is The Mashup After Hours Podcast.
So, Italy, or Italians, should I say, they've actually developed sort of plants and fungi which can break down plastic. So, I mean, as we know, plastic waste is a huge issue worldwide. Everything that is packaged is normally in plastic, and it's one of, in my opinion, this is not scientifically backed, but in my opinion, the most thrown away material probably in the world. Everything has plastic around it. So scientists in Italy, they've been exploring how plants and fungi and other naturally occurring sort of microbes can break that plastic down in a really sustainable fashion. They've been looking at the sort of biological solutions that are able to degrade certain types of plastic and to be able to degrade them faster than the traditional environmental processes that we have. So what this is essentially and hopefully doing is taking this excess waste of plastic and being able to get rid of it faster than we've ever done before but by using completely naturally occurring solutions to it, which is, let's be honest, the most environmentally friendly method that you can possibly come up with. Like, how amazing is the prospect of something natural breaking down something which is so unnatural?
I love science, and I love how we're still now creating new methods of science to help the world's problems. I feel like, I mean, I'm not intelligent enough to have a major opinion on it, but like, we've got some incredible, intelligent people in the world that are creating these new methods, like you said, out of natural resources to tackle the world's issues. And I think it's an amazing thing that we have going off. I mean, why is it like fungi all of a sudden, like all these different types of mushrooms and things that have all these amazing health benefits that have all of a sudden come to life now, like lion's mane and all these other various types of mushrooms and things? Like, what is the world's, like, this has got to have been around forever, like, you know, why are we only now finding the natural remedies and everything else?
Always been there, but it'll just be a matter of, you might have to use it in a certain way, ingest it in a certain way, prepare it in a certain way, have it at a certain temperature, whatever it might be. And it's just a matter of perfecting the environments we have it in to make it work in the best in the best possible way. I think it's, I'm a bit with you, John, like, because I think especially in like maybe 100 or a couple of 100 years ago, at some point someone will have said we will have invented everything, and yet we're at a point now where realistically we have invented everything, and yet still more stuff comes out. And we manage to make the same thing smaller or more efficient, or we find a new way of doing something which is better for the environment. And it is mind-bending, really. Mind-bending that thought and creativity is still happening, even though we have everything. We have everything we need.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we live in a world that we take for granted, where science actually is, and it can be done in the most positive ways. And it gives you hope, I think, as a human being, because we're all looking for that cure for cancer. We're all looking for that cure for the worst diseases in the world. And there's still hope that with all these new science and history, and not history, but research and things that's still happening in the world today, that there is still that glimmer that there is a possibility that could be, you know, it's not going to happen next week, but it could take a few more years or another 10, 15 years. But at some point there will be a cure or something to slow that process down. And I think that's an amazing thing to look forward to. And like, even like science, the space and space exploration and things like that. Now it's always been NASA sending spaceships up to space, and more companies now are creating rockets. I know some of them, there's one I think last weekend or a week before that went up in flames and blew up, but there are more people creating rockets to try and explore corners of space that haven't been explored before. And that science is just absolutely amazing. And again, I'm not opinionated. I don't know enough about it to be able to say, oh yeah, they could do X, Y, and Z, because I don't genuinely. I'm not clever enough to be able to sit here and say this is the podcast where I'm going to be Albert Einstein for an hour, because that won't happen. But yeah, genuinely, it's inspirational, and it definitely, like I said, gives you that little glimmer of hope that we're all desperate to grab onto. But yeah, amazing that.
I cannot wait until the aliens come back, because they 100% exist. I'm sure. I believe that.
Yeah, 100%. Got to be life out there, right?
Yeah. There's life out there. So
built the pyramids.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I've seen enough documentaries now. That's not man-built. No chance.
Yeah. I cannot wait for that moment.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, one of my favourite films is Mars Attacks by Tim Burton. He's my favourite director. And that film's just hilarious. Like, it's going to be like that. And then obviously they'll kill us all, and then that's it. So, like, very morbid, but like, no, I'm excited for that moment, because it is incredible.
Yeah.
I think there's so much more that people know about that we, general public, don't know about.
Yep.
And I cannot wait for us to find out everything, because space fascinates me. But yeah, like I said, like we do sometimes take stuff for granted. There's so much negativity, and it's nice that you guys have highlighted positive news outlets, because I haven't watched mainstream news for 3 or 4 years because I don't need it in my life. So
It's
I
so
don't-
just massive, isn't
isn't
it?
it?
yeah. So I've decided it's just one thing. Like I cut out alcohol. It's one thing I cut out was mainstream media.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting and very good that we could just celebrate things like that instead of always focusing on the negative.
You are listening to The Mashup After Hours Podcast.
You know, I like, in the last series, we spoke a little bit about world records, and some of the world records really fascinate me. And this one, again, that's really caught my interest because it's crazy, but it's someone's thought, you know what, I'm going to be in the world records for this, so let me get into it. So now this might genuinely be one of the most ridiculous world records I've ever heard, but an Idaho man has officially landed himself in the Guinness World Records, and get ready for it, after balancing a fully running chainsaw on his chin for more than 4 minutes straight. Yeah, I mean, he could have not been in the world records and could have been in a coffin somewhere. But yeah, he didn't switch it off. It was running. It was fully running. Imagine explaining that to one of your family members before attempting it. Don't worry, everyone. I'm just off outside to risk my entire face for a certificate and a handshake. You know, that's what people do. And apparently he stood there completely still while his chainsaw buzzed away inches from disaster. Which does raise the question, where exactly is the line between an impressive skill and a completely useless cry for attention? Because technically it's talented, but also completely insane, right? So that got me thinking, what's your most useless party trick or hidden talent? You know, the thing that's absolutely pointless, but for some reason you're weirdly proud of. Have any of you got any of those?
Yeah, I have.
Go on then, Matt. What's yours?
Go on, Matt.
So I can move my ears up and down. Like you won't be able to see it on video. But if I concentrate enough, I can move my ears up and down. It's useless, but I don't know anyone else I can do it.
Do you just sit there when you're out with your mates and your ears are just going to see if anyone recognises it?
Yeah. It's just white. I don't know how I ever came across it or what, but it's the most useless party trick. It doesn't do anything. But
that feels like in COVID, Matt, you were that bored, you were trying to figure out what you could make your body do. Really?
100%.
I like it though. Clare Pal, have you got any weird and wonderful things that you can do?
It's probably the whole I could tell you, I can watch a film or something that I haven't watched for years, and I can say every word. If you put an episode of Tracy Beaker on now, I would be reciting every word.
So you're basically
I know this now.
You're director's commentary then, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So don't go to the cinemas with you.
I know really random facts as well. I can't think of any now because my mind's gone completely blank. But I just, yeah.
Do you know what? I've got a random fact, and I don't know why this is in my head, but it's my favourite fact ever. You know, otters?
Yeah.
They have got a little pouch, a little pocket, and what they do is they find their favourite stone, and they put their favourite stone in their little pouch so they can keep their favourite stone safe and take it with them.
Oh, lovely. Very curious.
They have that as well, don't they? Well, I'm sleeping.
So they don't float away.
Float away.
Yeah.
Clever. I like it. Have you ever thought about being in the World Book of Records, the Guinness Book of Records? And if you were to be in it, what would you try and attempt to try and get an accomplishment in there?
Well, we were talking about this in the last series, weren't we?
Yeah, we were, yeah.
For me, it would probably be the wheelbarrow race because I was very good at it.
Yeah, maybe again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Matt, have you ever thought about being in the World Guinness Book of Records?
Yeah, me and my wife sometimes watch the top 100 on YouTube or something, and I always think I could do some of that stuff, but I don't know what I'd do. I feel like I'd like to do a lot of things just to see if one of them I could be really good at, but yeah, I don't know what it would be.
Maybe the most half marathons ran in a single amount of time, maybe that could be a challenge.
I don't think his knees will let him do that.
That is not let me do that. But yeah, it'd be something silly. Like my wife is always asking me what the hell I'm up to because she'll see something on the front door camera and be like, "What are you doing now?" So yeah,
you can't get away with those ring doorbells, can you?
I know, yeah. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it would be like trying to balance, I don't know, like 10 pencils or as many pencils as I can, like stacked like this or something. This is like what I do half the time. So I'd spend 16 hours in my studio and I'm like, do you look back and be like, what did I actually do today? Figure out what I actually did.
And then you go, oh, bloody hell, I've got an idea for a shirt. I'm going to design that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Step inside. It's safe here. Mostly. Anonymous confessions, cringy moments, and stories you can't unhear. Welcome to the Confession Booth.
Right, so this is where an anonymous listener contacts us with a bit of a confession. Sometimes they're juicy, sometimes they're a little bit more information than we possibly need, but there we go. This is an anonymous listener, and this is what they said this week.
Only John has seen it, so me and Claire are hearing it for the first time as well as you, Matt.
Oh, surprises. This one's a little bit controversial because this person's in a bit of a pickle, is asking for some advice, so hopefully we can try and provide that for them. So here we go. Dear John and the two Claires, and Matt, of course, about 6 months ago, I started talking to a guy online after replying to one of his posts. At first, it was harmless flirting, but when he asked what I looked like, I panicked because my confidence was awful at the time. Instead of sending real photos, I used pictures of another girl. I honestly thought the conversation would fade out after a few days, but it didn't. We ended up speaking every single day, phone calls, voice notes, deep conversations at stupid hours of the night, the kind where you end up telling someone absolutely everything about yourself. Somewhere along the way, we both completely fell for each other. Now he's desperate for us to finally meet in person and keeps talking about planning weekends away together. The problem is, he has no idea I'm not the girl in the photos. Everything emotional between us is real, but the lie has gone on for so long that now I don't know how to tell him the truth without completely destroying him. I know what I've done is awful, but I genuinely love him and I feel trapped in a mess that I've never meant to create. The guilt is honestly horrible now. Every time he compliments me or says he can't wait to finally see me, I feel sick because I know I've let this go on for far too long. He's even started talking about introducing me to his family and saying I'm the best thing that's happened to him in years. Part of me wants to come clean and hope he can somehow forgive me because the connection we have is real, but another part of me thinks I've lied for too long and there's no way back from this. I'm terrified that the moment he sees the real me, I'll lose someone I genuinely think I've fallen in love with. How do I come clean without losing him? Is there a way? Please help. Kind regards, an anonymous confessor. Now, I watched enough MTV Catfish to know that there's absolutely no way this person's going to come out of this with a happy ending. It's not going to go well.
But some people on Catfish do it for like 10 years and they don't see people. So
yeah. I mean, 6 months, I guess, in Catfish TV terms is not that long.
No.
But if this is like a regular conversation, there's been lots of chats, lots of late nights, and now they've got the feels, I think there's a bit of a predicament here that you're going to have to come clean because otherwise you're never going to meet in person. But there's still that 50-50 chance that actually if you do meet in person and he's fell in love with you and not the pictures, I don't know if that's the case here, that he might sort of let it sway and be happy to sort of consider the moment, but then I don't know. Have you ever been in a predicament where you've been catfished and caught somebody out, or any advice you could give this anonymous confessor that might be helpful?
I think if you've both really fallen for each other and have said, like you've spoken on a really deep level about everything, and I think if that's real and you told him, he would be okay. If you said, obviously, like, I'm not happy with myself or whatever, and I did this, I thought it was harmless, and it's turned out to be this. And if he really cares, he will stay. If not, then his true colours. Mm-hmm. It's like the red flags from last week.
It is like the red flags from last week. I mean, Claire, Stephen, any advice you can offer?
It's difficult because I'm a bit like, I try and put myself in the other person's shoes. And if I had been, because I online dated, me and my fiance met through online dating. And I know that if I had been talking to someone for months and months and months and then found out that isn't what they look like, even if I looked at the pictures and was like, oh, it's still like an attractive person, like, you'd kind of feel that you started on a lie, and then it's like, well, if you were lying about that, what else were you lying about?
Don't you?
Yeah, and it's difficult. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that the confessor it's what you want to hear, and I am genuinely sorry for that, because I do appreciate that you can get very, very genuine connections through online friendships and relationships and all stuff like that. And it is going to hurt, and it'll probably hurt on both sides. But I do think that, especially now that they've realised that maybe this is more than just a bit of company in an evening sort of thing, like an online chat board sort of company, you've got to come clean sooner rather than later. You've got to, because the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to get. And it's like, say, it might not go well, it might not be the outcome you're wanting, but you've got to be honest, and then hopefully it's something that you genuinely can laugh about in the future. Like, oh, well, did you know that when we first started talking, you know what I mean? And hopefully it'll be that. But I also feel for the other person, because at the end of the day, they are being lied to at the moment.
Yeah.
Even though it makes no effect to their relationship, friendship, whatever it might be, you got to be honest. Got to be honest. Come clean.
Yeah. How about take the advice and then let us know in a few weeks if you've taken the advice and how it's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a...
Matt, what do you make of it, or what would you say?
Yeah, I would agree with the other Claire. Like, if you're starting off as a kind of a lie, then what else can potentially be lied about in the future? For me, the trust would kind of like go down. I haven't necessarily been catfished, but I did go on a date way before I met my wife, and the girl was like nothing like what she was on her social media or anything. It was like almost like she was completely different. And it wasn't necessarily she like lied to me or anything, but it was obviously not really her, and the way that she spoke on the messages was completely different of how she acted. And I at the time I just didn't feel it was right. But obviously these people may have a connection, although it sounds like they've got a connection. Mm-hmm. So I think just coming clean, because I mean, you look at that program Love Is Blind. Obviously I've seen it advertised and stuff. Obviously it does happen, or when people don't, like, they fall in love not really knowing who people are. So yeah, they might be able to work through it, but I think just coming clean is better than just keep on going on with a lie. Yeah, I think that's my point on it. I'm always true. I'm always like, now, especially if people don't love you for who you are, then you don't need them in your life.
Yeah,
exactly.
So they will love you. Yeah, they will love you for who you are. Someone did actually use me to catfish other people. So basically, someone took my photos, uploaded them all onto Plenty of Fish, and was pretending to be me. This was like 6 years ago. And then they messaged my cousin, and she messaged me being like, what's going on here? And I was like, well, obviously it's not me, because, you know, I'm like engaged. And then they put my Instagram as well, so people would like start to message me on Instagram, and I was like, what is going on? Yeah. And someone had took my identity and was trying to use.
I mean, a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment in one aspect.
Oh, yeah. I think it was that, yeah. But
scary at how easily it can be done, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So scary.
You put anything on socials now and search for a name on Google, and it comes up. And sometimes you don't even have to search for names. You can just put handsome man, and then I come up straight away for some reason as the first result.
No, if you put hashtag fluffy, you'd probably...
Yeah, that'd be more like me, yeah.
I would be very cautious of typing that into a search engine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just very cautious.
Luckily, Google.
It just shows, obviously, like, you kind of do have to think about what you're posting online.
Yes.
Obviously, like with the brand, I post a lot of like vulnerable stuff online, but I'm happy for people to find my stuff now. Like, you want to look back, I'm glad I didn't put as many photos as I was when I was on a night out, because I wouldn't want that trail to be found.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is the thing as well, is once it's out there, isn't it? Mm. So, like, there's been some celebrities, and it's like, oh, you said this on your Facebook 10 years ago. Yes, when I was 16 or
Yeah.
a child or whatever. But it's like, yeah, but you still said it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it can get people in a lot of trouble. But...
Well, hopefully
can.
we've supported the confessor anyway, and we'd love to have an update. If you do come out
Please
clean,
let us know.
yes, give us a part 2.
Genuinely, best of luck with
Yes,
it.
best
Hope it
of
works
luck.
well.
Every week, we throw out a question, and you lot never disappoint. This is the question of the week.
Right then, the question of the week then. What's the most British problem you've ever had? Over 300 comments on this post on Facebook. Obviously, I've had to filter through those because we've attracted all the Karens. They've come out in full force on this one. So I've picked out the best ones, the ones that we won't get in trouble for. So here we go. This is what people have been saying. So what's the most British problem you've ever had? Paul Tizer says drivers that don't use their indicators on roundabouts. That's a big pet peeve for me.
Yeah.
Linda Gregory says apologising when I shouldn't have. Is that a British thing? Is only us that do that? Okay.
If somebody walks into me, I apologise. That's my fault that they just walked. It's just they hit me. Oh, I'm sorry. Make
Fair
way.
point.
Say,
I apologise if I walk into a lamppost. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Lamppost.
Sorry, lamppost. Yeah, sorry about that.
You know? You absolutely apologise for everything, whether it's your fault or not.
Stu MacDonald says, and I think this is very British, of course, the weather. Those who think climate change isn't real should come to England where the climate changes several times a week. I like it.
Yeah.
Pico...
Generous saying a week. It changes several times a day.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
We
had all the seasons last week, didn't we? Like one day.
Thunderstorms, hail, sunshine.
Everything but snow. Pico says, getting my mum's tea wrong, or worse, my mum accidentally seeing how I make tea sacrilegiously. I like that one. David Lawrence.
How you make tea.
You don't drink tea, do you, Claire? David Lawrenson says avoiding potholes. That's a big thing. Electra says getting a doctor's appointment the same day. Yeah, I get that one. That's a big issue. Maureen Sinclair says biscuits broken into the tea when dunking. Yep. Dennis has obviously had a bit of this over the last couple of weeks. He says sunburn. Jonathan Clark says people saying Arsenal will win the Champions League. Wayne,
know that now.
Well, yeah. Wayne Garside said solar panels that don't work in January. That seems to be a bit of an issue. Mary Rogers says people that walk behind you when you are reversing the car. Yeah, that's a bit of a bugbear.
Yeah.
This is definitely written by Claire, but she's used a different name. George Fernal says farting loudly in public and trying to keep a straight face as I walk away from the smell.
Oh dear.
Brendan Summers says, and I get this one, this is painful, what meat to have on my Sunday roast? Richard Perkins. Richard Perkins says meeting someone for dinner at a restaurant at 4:30 p.m. as it was too soon to dress in evening attire, and I would appear underdressed later on in the evening, which is rather awkward. That's one like when he's gone out, but he's not gone out, if you know what I mean. He's not gone out. Wendy Freeborn says wearing socks with sandals. And Simon Hartley, I finish off with this one. Simon Hartley says, ran out of tea bags once. You have no idea what trauma feels like unless you're British. Yeah, completely get it. Any British problems you've encountered recently or ever had? Any major ones?
I've had a few. So they've been in queues, and I feel like queuing in a shop is a very British thing.
Yeah.
People queue behind a mannequin. But when people stand in the queue a bit too close to you and you can feel their breath on your neck and you're like, excuse me,
Yeah.
don't need to be that close. Just back off. Like, you're going to get served. We know you stood behind me. You're going to get served. It's fine. Just,
Yeah. I like the queuing one's a good one because as a British person, you know, when you go abroad and you're around lots of people from other countries that don't queue, that don't like standing in a queue, that's a bit of a problem. I know it's not happening in the UK, but it's definitely something us as British citizens are just so used to doing, and we're so courteous to do it that other people just genuinely don't want to do. Yeah. What about you, Claire, Stephen? Any British problems?
Nah, to be honest, mine are stuff that our listeners have already said. Like we've we genuinely, there is a group of us at work, and we're all in different offices. We're not in the same office. And if one of us runs out of tea bags, we have to do like an emergency run around the offices. Like, have you got any spare tea bags? Got any spare tea bags? And it's to the point where my tea bags at the minute are literally wrapped up in like a sandwich bag because I've had to go and get them from another office. And I was like, I swear I'll bring them back. I've never taken them back. It's just a mad dash but I'm the only one in the office that drinks tea, so I have to rely on other people from different offices to like allow me to not want to kill people, because that's what tea, or lack of tea, should I say, can do.
Yes, absolutely.
I think also another British problem is stealing pens. You lend someone a pen, like at the start of your school term, you have a full pencil case of pens. At the end of term, even the term, half term, you're lucky if you've got one left.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Matt, have you got any very British problems?
I don't know if it's a British problem, but it's just a problem that I had the other day, and I thought the person did it just out of spite. Was I had to put my tyres up, and I was like waiting, and he pumped his tyres up. Obviously, he had paid for £5 worth of air, and then he sat in his car. And so then when I went, I was like, wicked, I can use the rest of his. I'll just quickly do it, and then I had to then pay because he sat in his car for like 2 minutes before moving, before I could then put my tyres up. I was like, maybe he's done that just because it's a very British thing of like, well, I paid for this, so I'm going to get my 5 minutes worth.
Yeah.
But apart from
You've got
that,
it,
yeah, I was like ready to like literally like go Formula One pit stop all the way around. But no, I don't really have many other British like not moans or things, because my wife she says all the time, like, nothing will faze me. Traffic doesn't faze me because I've been in traffic in the Philippines, the most like congested city in the world, like Manila. Traffic here is nothing. There's no traffic here whatsoever. I just don't put myself in those situations where I'm worried about anything. If something is going to take 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, it's going to take 3 hours. Yeah. Like if queuing, I can just understand, but I'm very much like, well, if someone comes in front, then it is what it is. I'm quite laid back. So nothing really phases me other than that guy doing my tyres because I need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Talking about queuing as well, I don't know if you've ever been to Betty's Tea Room in like Harrogate or York, but when you go, you have to queue outside. That's part of the experience. There's always a really long queue. And there was one time I was with my mum and my sister, and we went straight in. There wasn't a queue. And I was like, I feel like we need to stand in a queue. We'll stand outside for 5 minutes.
Stand outside.
Just to be in a queue, because that's the whole experience of it.
Oh, that's really funny. I did queue for a lift once in the Philippines. I queued. There was 2 queues, one for going up, one for going down. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that's such a British thing. Well, it's just not in a British place.
Yeah,
it was in a hospital, and it was just like, I was like, that's so random. I felt like I was queuing at Alton Towers. You got it right.
Guys, I think that might be the end of episode 2. Matt, it's been a pleasure having you on with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we didn't mention it earlier on. If people want to buy something from Klatch, how do they need to do it, and how can they follow you on social media as well?
Yeah, so it's Klatch.co and on the website, and Klatch Co on Instagram with a K at the beginning. So yeah, it's super easy to remember both.
Fantastic.
Those. Yeah, and if you sign up for the email, you get a discount code off your first order as well, just to kind of help you out.
And obviously, any information about the support groups and everything else you've got going community-wise, is that all on social media as well for people to see and join in?
Yeah, so we put all that on social media, on the Klatch Co Instagram, but on our website as well, we do have a mental health resources page. So if you're struggling with certain things, so we cover anxiety, bereavement, addiction, those types of things, we've got it on our website. So you head to the website, Klatch.co, and then there's mental health resources. There's loads of different pages on there. You can then access certain groups and organisations that will assist you in those areas. So, but yeah, everything else is all on socials. I put everything on there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ladies, it's been a pleasure yet again. Episode 2, done and dusted. Matt, all the best for the future. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to buy something from the website. I think we're gonna have to get some skater boy outfits on. I used to have a skater. Yeah. I was a skater boy when I was younger, but I couldn't ride it, so I just used to hold it underneath my arm.
Really not one of the limited edition long sleeve ones. That's what I've been eyeing up for. Will
we need our own design, Matt? That's what we need. We need something with the three amigos on it. You know, I'll leave you with that one. But no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck with everything. I can't wait to see you grow and develop and sort of further down the line. Maybe we'll see you in the big chain soon. You know, you never know what's around the corner. We might see you in the local supermarkets or there'll be a stand somewhere in a close store. You never know, dear. You never know. But yeah, best of luck, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. Just getting the message out there. I'm just going to leave it with just checking with your mates. If you just checking with your mates, drop them a text, drop them a call, ask them how they're doing.
Definitely. Amazing advice. Ladies, right, that is it. We're done and dusted. We'll see you again, same time, next place. We'll have another guest joining us on episode 3, but we'll let you go. Ta-ra! So everyone wave, wave. That's it.
Love the chaos of the mashup after hours? Then don't miss John's Weekend Mashup. Live every Sunday from 9 a.m. on Cracks Radio and on TikTok.